Hi there and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm so glad you're joining me today because that's right, I've got my apron on, my oven's preheated and I've got my cookbook ready to go. So today's recipe is out of book 4, this fabulous recipe, and it's Homestead chicken pie. So that's the recipe we're making today, and it's one of our favourites in our house. We make it a lot, and I'm really excited to cook this recipe for you today. So before we start, let's have a look at the winners from last week's show, because they've all won a personally signed copy of book 6, and that is Anya Perelmutta, Heather Turton and Debbie Battle. So they've all very excited to have won. I do apologise for the hiccup last Thursday. We don't know what happened with the system, but the microphone was just going crazy, and I'm glad we at least got to do it properly for you at the end of the day. But hopefully all's good today. So let's look at the ingredients we need for this fabulous recipe. So we need 600 grams of chicken breast, skinless chicken breast, and I've already just pre-diced it just to make it a bit quicker because we've got a little bit to do today. So you know how to dice the chicken. So that's skinless chicken breast, 600 grams. We want a medium onion, 250 grams of mushrooms. I'm going to do some parsley in it. I need to chop it up and get 2 tablespoons. And of course, this is freshly out of my garden. I'm a little bit proud of that. We've got 1.5 cups of skim milk, cooking spray, pepper, and also we have the cup of soup. So we want 2 sachets of the cream of chicken, cup of soup, and 1 of the cream of mushroom. And that will give you a beautiful sauce. So that's your filling that goes at the bottom. And then we're going to make this fabulous scone top. I love it because I think anything that has the word scone in it's fabulous. And it's just a small scone mix, so it'll be easy to make. And for that, I've got the ingredients over here. We need an egg white, cup of self-raising flour, a pinch of salt, a tablespoon of margarine, which will melt, and that's the Floralite margarine, and a 1/4 cup of skim milk. I've also got some milk left over in a little bowl to brush the top of the scone, and some flour to help me roll it out. So let's get started. First of all, I'm going to probably just get the onion out of the way, and it's a medium onion. So we dice the onion the Annette way, of course. This is where having a sharp knife is really going to help you when you're chopping something like this up, because they say that if you're using a blunt knife, that's where you get that whole crying eyes, weeping eye thing, because what you're doing with a blunt knife is you're pushing down really hard on it and pushing the juice out of the onion, and the juice is what stings the eyes. So there you go. Let's do the other bit. As I said, I've already done the chicken because I've got to make the scone mix as well, and I thought, it would just make it a bit easier for the show. And this is some of the things that I do in my recipes that help with the fat count, because normally, pies, they're really just high in fat, and I want to give you all the joy of eating the food you love. And this fantastic pie is just one of the ones that I think you're going to really love. But you've got now a low-fat version. Hello, it's exciting. Now, really the good news is that you only get, I think it's for chicken, because there's 4 variations, and I'll tell you about them later. It's 4 grams of fat for a serve, because this is enough for 6. So you've got plenty to share with the family. And then with the mushrooms, just quarter them. Now, I wash the mushrooms, but I never peel the skin off. Years ago, back in the 80s, I suppose, we used to peel all the skin off. We would take the stalks out. If it's a bit big, give it another cut. But now, no. I want the whole lot in there. Because someone commented one time, "Oh, Annette, you've used the stalk of the mushroom. That's crazy." And I go, "Oh, honey, yeah, I've paid for it. I'm using it." So 250 grams of the mushrooms. As I say, if it looks a bit big, like this is a fairly big mushroom, I'm going to cut that in 6. So you can see it's just a matter, as usual, of chopping it all up. I'm going to chuck it in the pot and cook it. That's my technique. So the chicken, as I said, I've already diced that. The onion's ready. All I've got to do now is the parsley. So now I want 2 tablespoons, and I love that I've got my little herb garden now. I'm not really, I'm a good indoor plant person, but outdoors I'm not so great. Diane is fabulous. I mean, I aspire to be her in the garden. She's fabulous. But I have had success with my herbs, and I've got oregano, basil, I've got the parsley, mint, and some sage. Yeah, and they're all doing very well. All right, that should give me enough, I hope. All right, so you just take, as I said, the stalks off, and then I give it in a real, hold it up and crunch it together, and then go with my very sharp knife. And then hold the other end, and that way you'll be able to really get in and chop. If you do it like this, it doesn't achieve a lot. And I love the parsley in it. It really is, you know, helps with the flavour of the sauce. So please add it in. I've got a little grocer up the road that actually gives you little bundles of parsley, which I think is fantastic. So let's get rid of that. I'm going to put my 2 tablespoons in here. Oh, what the heck, put that rest in. And I can get rid of my chopping board. And if you notice, I've got a little cloth underneath, and I find that really helps so that the chopping board doesn't slide around. Yes, so there's little tips you're getting here on Thursday with Annette. Thank you for joining me. If you have just come in to the show, well, welcome. Today we're making Homestead chicken pie. It's out of book 4, and already we are going to start cooking. I've got my rolling pin for the scone later. So let's turn it on, and I'm going to turn that up a bit high because I want to really sear off that chicken. I've got my special oil that I just get in the supermarket. It's the rice bran oil for my Neoflan non-stick pans, because I really find that this is the best one for it, because the others can give a coating onto your non-stick, and that's not good. We don't want that. Okay, so let's put in our chicken. And as usual, I hope you've been watching the shows on Tuesday as well, because that's where I do actually a cooking class. Today it's just about cooking for you, but on Tuesday you can download the recipe and get the ingredients and actually make it live with me on a Tuesday afternoon, which a lot of people are doing, and I love it. Especially if you're in lockdown, you could use this as a cooking class for any of the kids that are at home. And I'm sending love to everybody in Melbourne. I know Sydney's, you know, got restrictions, but poor Melbourne is really under the pump at the moment, and I really want to send lots of love to you. I really feel for you all very much. So I'm just going to wash my hands. All right, so we're going to cook that chicken just for a couple of minutes and stir it. And this is what I love to do this, because it's a matter of just, you know, bunging it all together and it's already done. The key is, though, we have to have our oven preheated, and it's a hot oven for this recipe. It's normally I do everything at 180, but today's recipe, make a note, it's 220 degrees fan forced, okay? Because we're doing a scone top, and I really, you know, when you're making like a scone mix, it really should be in a hot oven. So there's another great tip for you. If you're ever making scones, always 220. Make a note of that. I've got scones in my cookbooks in book 4. There's, you know, in this recipe book, you know, hopefully you might win it this week. You'll also get to enjoy the scone recipes in there. My favourite is the date and orange scones. I love them so much. All right, so we're cooking that chicken just for a couple of minutes. Now I'm going to put in the onion. And I've diced that up ahead, remember. in my soapy sink. Thanks for joining me today. I'm excited to cook for you. I love Thursdays, and we get to spend some time together, and I know that there's a lot of, regulars there, and I want to say hi to you all. I really appreciate my top fans. And the good news is that you make this sauce, and then you put it in, and we'll make the scone top, and then, as I said, in the oven, maybe 10 minutes. I actually was really busy today. I didn't get to make one ahead, but when you look at the picture, you can pretty well see the lovely brown top you get on the scone mix. I will post it though. I'll take a photo when it's all done, and I'll put it in the comments so you can check it out. All right, now in goes the parsley and the mushrooms. There we go. Now, if you're saying, as I know some of you do, don't like mushrooms, Annette, what are you doing? Well, you know what? I've got you covered, because I thought about this before we came on air. And I thought, what would you do if you didn't like mushrooms? And I thought, I know what would go really well. Instead of the mushrooms, you could do sliced leek. That would be delicious in it. And so it'd be chicken and leek, pie, homestead pie, that'd be good. You could also, if you said, oh, I don't really like leeks, you could do mixed vegetables. You could even cheat and buy frozen mixed vegetables so that all you've got to do is chop up your chicken and your onion, and you can buy chicken diced already. So if you're looking for an easy meal, this is going to be one for you. And also, if you're thinking, a bit sick of chicken, well, I have 4 variations for you. Okay, so with the chicken, it's 4 grams of fat per serve. I know, it's fabulous. And the veal is 4.2, so you could do diced veal schnitzels. Pork is another one. If you get the loin pork or the schnitzels, that's 4 grams of fat, like the chicken. And your veggies, I'm not missing you out, Dale. You could do it with tofu, and that's 8.5, because tofu, even though it's very healthy for you and that, it is a bit high in fat, but it's good fat, so that's 8.5. Okay, so now we're going to put the soup mixes. I want 2 of the chicken and 1 of the mushroom, and I'm going to put it in the milk. And this will help really flavour up the sauce, because that's what we're all about here. We want to cut the fats down, but we don't want to cut the flavour down. And that's probably why I've sold over 4 million cookbooks. I know, because this isn't just about losing weight. This is good, healthy cooking, isn't it? Now in goes the mushroom, and this will thicken up the sauce beautifully. I've got my whisk. So we've cooked the chicken, the onion, and the mushrooms, and we've chucked that chopped parsley in so it looks pretty in green bits. And now in goes the sauce. Let's just scoop that out. And we're just going to mix that together. And once that's boiled, it will thicken, and we're going to pop it into our dish. And actually, this is the dish that's actually in the photo. So you can see we do it here. We take the photos from here at Symply Too Good headquarters, and a lot of times we're using props that I actually use at home, or we buy them and I fall in love with them and keep them. So you can imagine I've got lots of beautiful kitchenware. Now once this is, as I said, once this is boiled and thickened, I'm going to pour it in here, put it to the side, and then it's all about the scone top. So how good is this? Thanks for joining me. If you're just saying hello, well, it's Homestead Chicken Pie out of book 4 today. Oh, look at this. Doesn't that look fabulous? Oh, yes. Oh, look at it. Beautiful, creamy sauce. And I do love that little bit of parsley. Now, I know it's an old-fashioned herb, but I love it. All right, so we're good here. I'm turning that off. And now I'm going to pour it. It's a bit heavy. Let me get my grip. I'm going to pour it ever so carefully, oh dear. I've had a spill. See how nothing sticks to the pans? Oh gosh, I love these Neoflam pans. And just note, we've just received the lids to go with these pans now. So I'm very excited about that. So what escaped? Oh, a little mushy. All right. So I'm now gonna just flatten that because we want the scone mix to go on the top. Let's move that to the side. I'm going to get rid of this, and then it's all about scones. So I'm actually going to put gloves on because you know I'm a bit precious. I know, I hate getting the dough under my nails and in my rings and that. And it's just as easy. It takes 2 seconds to put the gloves on, doesn't it? And it just makes the cooking experience a little bit more pleasant. Let me just wipe this down. Look at the mess, oh Annette. I'm really a quick cook, so that's what I do. I just go, 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 go. Okay, all right, so there is our pie filling. Now it's about the scones. So I'm actually gonna grab a little bit of cling wrap. I've got a tablespoon. Remember, it's my 15 ml tablespoon. I'm going to do it in the microwave, and I'm going to be a bit careful because Floralite has got a bit of water in it. That's how they fluff it up and get it so low in fat. And I don't want it to do too heavy in the microwave because otherwise it splatters everywhere and we lose it all. So I'm going to go to micro power 5 for 10 seconds. I reckon I'm going to need more, but let's come back to it. So you get your cup of flour and pinch of salt. There we go. Because we're making a savoury scone. You know, often with scones you put a little bit of sugar in, but today it's savoury. And savoury scones are fantastic. I've got one that I always make when I do like a scone buffet, which I love to do for visitors, and it's the cheese and chive, or cheese and onion. Cheese and onion. It's just fabulous. Okay, yep. Let's do that again. I'm going to do it for 20, but I'm going to watch because I don't want that to splatter. So let's get our stuff over here. Let's see how it is. Oh, yeah, a little bit longer. I'm getting there. As I say, I just want to be careful with it because it just makes such a mess, and that's the cling wrap helps. But I want all that margarine in my scone mix, not all over the cling wrap. Have you ever done that where you get it and it's just gone everywhere? It's not good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/4 cup of skim milk to that melted margarine because it's quite hot. And I want to cool that down because I'm now going to put an egg white into that mix. Because I'm all about saving bowls. Oh gosh, this is crumbling under my feet. Oh, okay. What happens now? Let me show you. You go in and you carefully, now I wanted to do that just to show you, didn't I? Not. So there's the yolk out. It's good. Save the day. Don't you love live cooking shows? And then in it goes. Get a wooden spoon, mix that around, and then what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out, or actually you just need to pat it out, to be honest. You don't need to roll it. So this is where you get in with your gloves. Let me just move that away. And just mix that. Get all that dry mix in. This is a great scone recipe. And even if you wanted to make this dough and make just a few scones instead of like a real lot, if there's only 1 or 2 of you at home, you might not want a dozen scones. So there you go. But if you're doing sweet, just put a little bit of sugar in it. All right. But we want it savoury today. In my soapy sink. Now, Always put some flour down on the bench because we don't want it sticky. Now, the idea with this is I want the pastry or the scone top to measure here. So what you do is get your trusty little ruler, and I reckon I need about maybe 17.5 inches, a tiny bit more. So what I'm going to do, or centimetres, I'm sorry, 17.5 centimetres. So, where's my, so you could pat it. You want to get a round shape, because I'm using round. And you could pat it out, or put a little bit of flour on your rolling pin to get the right one. Now, if you've got a square shape, well then obviously you work to a square theme. But let's have a look how I'm going. Well, that's pretty good. What's this side like? It's a little bit big. That's how easy the top is. I know, are you busy excited for me? Now what you do is you carefully get it, roll it up, and we're going to lift it onto the top. So, here we go. Look at that. I know, clever little duck. Now it says in the recipe you can pinch it and make it pretty, but I reckon it looks fine how it is. Now what we do is, where's my little brush? Little pastry brush. Or you could use your fingers if you don't have one, and pop some milk on the top. And it's going to go in the oven, as I said, for about 10 minutes. You might need 15, depending on how hot your oven is, but you've already preheated it, remember, to 220. I would serve this with some lovely veggies or salad. What a fantastic dinner, and it is suitably frozen. So let me open my oven door. In it goes. Remember, 220 degrees, and I'm doing it for 10, and I will come back and check on that in 10 minutes, but I won't be able to show you because you don't want to hang talking to me for 10 minutes, do you? Now, do you know what? In America, they would call that, because it doesn't have a pastry bottom to it, they would call it a chicken pot pie. And when I look at that, I just think, here, once again, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Because you've got a beautiful dish to enjoy now at only 4 grams of fat. Now, if you'd like to win book 4, I hope you do, because all you've got to do is like, share, and then in the comments, you know what you've got to do, hashtag Symply Too Good. Hashtag Symply with a Y, Too Good. Now you just do that, and I'll draw 3 lucky winners. And I know everyone was really enjoying the cheesecake last week for Father's Day, so thank you for your positive feedback. And Billy was very happy because we landed up with 3 cheesecakes last Thursday, so he was very happy, but in the end we did give 2 away. Now on next Tuesday's show, the cooking show, where you can go into the website at simplytoogood.com.au, you can go in there and get the recipe and download it so you can buy the ingredients. So what am I making? Oh, I'm doing a family favourite that I reckon you're going to love. I'm all about family enjoyment, food together, and it's out of book 5, and it's the spaghetti bake. Who doesn't love a feed of spaghetti? But then it's baked. Double fabulous whammy. So be here next week, and it's a great one for the kids because there's actually veggies in it as well. And I love that, because if kids don't like them, we can fool them a bit. Don't let them know. So that's the spaghetti bake on Tuesday with our cooking class. And then next Thursday, oh my gosh, I'm into cooking for 1 or 2 next week. And I'm making a recipe that I never liked until I made it my way. And it's the creamy pan-fried gnocchi. I never liked boiled gnocchi. I always thought it was a bit stodgy, didn't do anything for me. But Diane was the one that came to me and said, oh no, Annette, I fry my gnocchi. It opened the world up to me, and I created this fabulous recipe. So we're going to make it next Thursday, or I'll make it for you next Thursday. So you know what? Remember, go to the website for next Tuesday's recipe. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye now.